Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. There have been nearly 30,000 new cases of coronavirus in the last 24 hours. This is the highest daily total since the beginning of the year. The rising number of patients is alarming authorities who are preparing for even more cases.
We have a very difficult situation in the Mazovia province, but the situation is stable. On the other hand, the situation in Silesia is deteriorating most dramatically, and I am afraid that in a few days the eyes of all Poland will be on Silesia. Only in the Śląsk province, where more than 4,600 coronavirus infections have been confirmed today, are the numbers similar to those recorded in the Mazowiecki province. The number of hospital beds dedicated for COVID patients that are still available is about 25%, despite the number of temporary hospitals set up in recent weeks. At the moment, there are 302 patients and 318 places staffed by medical personnel. The problem right now is the number of personnel available, and our options here are very limited. Growing numbers of infections and deaths from COVID-19 are forcing the government to introduce further restrictions. On Thursday morning, the Prime Minister will announce the details. We will introduce more restrictions, effective for 2 weeks, starting a week before Easter and ending a week after the holiday. Last year, during Easter, the maximum of 5 people, not including priests, were allowed to attend Holy Mass. Tomorrow, we will know what this year's Easter will look like.
Angelika Borysz, president of the Union of Poles in Belarus, was sentenced to 15 days detention. Yesterday, she was arrested by the police, according to the union, for violating the rules on the organisation of mass events. Polish activists are convinced that these are just phony accusations.
Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki, in a special appeal, criticised the actions of Alexander Łukaszenka's regime. We do not agree to such treatment of the Polish people, to taking them as some kind of hostage. This is how you can define an action that the Belarusian authorities are using on an increasingly larger scale. It is absolutely not in line with any international standards. According to the journalist Andrzej Poczobut, the actions of the Belarusian authorities are actually aimed at Poles, and the detention of Angelika Borysz for organising the traditional Kaziusz's fair is only a pretext. Alexander Łukaszenka's regime needs an external enemy. He simply wants to divert the attention of Belarusian society from the tragic situation in the country, from economic problems and from political problems. Presidential Minister Adam Kwiatkowski appealed for the release of Angelika Borysz from detention. Yesterday evening, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs issued a statement. The arrest of Miss Angelika Borysz, who was elected a few days ago for another term, is tantamount to the elimination of Polishness, and not only affects good relations with Poland, but also affects the traditional Belarusian multiculturalism. We call for the release of the President of the Union of Poles in Belarus as soon as possible, and for an end to the arbitrary persecution of representatives of the Polish minority. These are not the only actions aimed at Poles recently. For over a week, inspections have been carried out in Polish schools. These institutions are visited by prosecutors and ideology officials. The state regime media calls Poland the hyena of Europe. They say that scouts are Pilsudski Jugend and that they show hatred towards Poland and Poles. This is also an atmosphere of terror. Today's sentence might be connected with tomorrow's celebrations in Belarus. We might think that this is all about the tense situation before the Belarusian Independence Day right now, which is tomorrow, on March the 25th, and the authorities just seem to be afraid of what will happen. Tomorrow, as part of the solidarity with Belarusians, the concert, We Play for Belarus, will be held in the National Philharmonic Hall in Warsaw.
March the 24th marks a national day of remembrance for Poles who saved Jews under German occupation. The President of the Republic of Poland established the commemoration day in 2018 to remember the Ulmer family. On March the 24th, 1944, German police shot dead 8 members of that family, the parents and 6 children. Their crime was sheltering 8 members of the Saul Goodman family who were also murdered along with their Polish friends. During the German occupation, Poland was the only country in Europe where offering any help to Jews was an offence punishable by death.
The President of Poland, Andrzej Duda, awarded decorations to people who saved the lives of Jews during World War II. Decorations were awarded to Sister Matilda Geta, Edward Digon, daughter of Polish diplomat Stanisław Wilański, Barbara Marat, and to a nun, Antonecka Frączek.
Naród żydowski przetrwał.
The Jewish nation survived, among other things, thanks to the great dedication of those who showed extraordinary humanity, extraordinary faith and heroism and courage.
Niezwykłym człowieczeństwem.
It is estimated that nearly 1 million Poles are involved in helping Jews.
Pomoc społeczeństwa polskiego.
The help of Polish society sprang from the Christian ethos of faith, which was always alive. The first such appeal was made by Zofia Kossak. Help to Jews persecuted by Germans was extended by the Polish state. Diplomats issued forged South American passports to thousands of people locked in ghettos, and the underground organisations such as Zegota, founded by an aristocrat, Zofia Kossak. Thanks to this organisation, Irena Sendlerova was able to smuggle as many as 2,500 children from the ghetto and hide them in Catholic convents on false documents. Antonina and Jan Zabinski tried to save Jews in the Warsaw Zoo, and Count Edward Raciński was the first to inform the world leaders about the extermination of Jews. By their actions, they rose to heights of humanity, while leaving the hope that good in man will always triumph over evil, even when there are powerful forces behind this evil. The memory of the fact that whoever saves one person saves the whole world is very important and deeply rooted in the entire Jewish tradition. The Ministry of Culture, National Heritage and Sports wishes to open a branch of the Polish History Museum at Żybowski Square in Warsaw, which will tell the story of Poles saving Jews during World War II.
Daniel Obajtek, the CEO of the Polish PKN Orlen Company, the largest oil conglomerate in Central and Eastern Europe, presented documentary evidence in relation to the real estate he owns. This is an unprecedented move and happened after weeks of a media campaign that alleged Obajtek's homes and properties had been obtained thanks to his political affiliations. Obajtek repeatedly denied the allegations, yet the media campaign was relentless. Orlen is merging with another Polish company, Lotos, to create an even bigger petrochemical group and building a media and logistics capacity through the purchase of rough points of sales and over 20 local newspapers. Observers see the attacks on Obajtek as part of opposition to these plans.
Daniel Obajtek's legal representatives provided journalists with notarial deeds, tax returns, real estate sale and donation contracts, property declarations, loan and credit agreements covering the years 1998 to 2020. Currently, the same documents are being examined by the Central Anti-Corruption Bureau at Obajtek's request. It has done this twice in the past. The documented gross income of Daniel Obajtek since 1998 is over 9 million Polish zloty. Net income is 6.8 million Polish zloty. This is income derived from work and property rental.
Daniel Obajtek,
in his financial declaration audit, concealed cottages in the town of Kopalino, which you may see on this picture. Did we obtain today or yesterday any kind of information about how Daniel Obajtek managed to build these houses?
Dowiedzieliśmy się, za co wybudował Daniel Obajtek te domy?
Szanowni Państwo, jak wszyscy doskonale wiemy...
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that Law and Justice was proposing a programme, Apartment Plus, but the ruling party never informed public opinion that it's all about one man's fortune, the one who manages the Orlen Company, who is Daniel Obajtek. And it's not only about those cottages.
Today marks the 100th anniversary of Father Franciszek Blachnicki, founder of the Catholic youth movement known as Light Life or Oasis. Blachnicki was a prisoner of the German concentration camp in Auschwitz, where the Nazis gave him number 1201. On the 30th of March 1942, he was sentenced to death by guillotine for having conspired against the German state. After spending 5 months on death row, he converted and dedicated his life to God. He became a priest in the 1940s and in 1954 founded his greatest movement, the Oasis or Light Life movement. The movement originated in Poland and has spread to other countries in Europe and the United States and Canada. The Catholic Church considers him a venerable person and the process of his beatification is continuing. That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.